Hello everyone, Isabel Montesinos. I'm going to talk about plagiarism and how to avoid plagiarism. Okay, this is my ID card. Okay, well, it's part of the requirement. Okay, I'm going to start. Okay, let me change this slide. Okay, what is plagiarism? According to Fitzpatrick, plagiarism is taking information from a source or write their thoughts without paraphrasing or quoting. In other words, it is kind of sharp practice since you copy or borrow authors' ideas, words, phrases without giving them the credit or cite properly. Additionally, using others' ideas from any sources and presenting as your own research, it is considered plagiarism as well. Plagiarism and ethics are strongly related because it's part of the academic behavior, it's part of the personal behavior. As Vivanco mentioned, no matter whether plagiarism is intentional or not, it is contemplated as legal issue and it's punishable. The types of plagiarism. I'm going to talk about 8 types of plagiarism. The first one is complete plagiarism. Complete plagiarism occurs when a writer copies another research works or article, and this person tries to publish this work as their own, as if it's like their original work. Okay. The second type of plagiarism is source-based plagiarism. It's subdivided into 3 different parts: false citation, misdirected citation, altered data, or data fabrication. False citation, it's when our research cites improperly, when a researcher cites improperly a source, and it is considered as a non-existent source because you don't have the correct information of the source. Misdirected citation, when a person collects a secondary source of information, but he or she just cite the primary sources. Maybe it's because some people think that secondary source of information is not important as is primary sources, but it's completely wrong. Both is quite important. Okay, and data fabrication or altered data is when someone manipulates the information, when someone tries to remove or change the information from a source and tries to create a false impression, a false information that, of course, is not reliable. Direct plagiarism or verbatim. This is related when an author or a writer tries to duplicate another author text without quoting or without giving the credit. And this person tries to present this work as an original. Self-plagiarism, I think it's one of the most common types of plagiarism in academic fields. Sometimes we take the information of previous studies. We take the ideas, phrases, keywords, and we trying to use again as if it's new information and trying to present a new work. That's self-plagiarism. Paraphrasing plagiarism. Paraphrasing is related to use an author's ideas and try to change some words to use synonyms in order to write differently as the original one. Inaccurate authorship. This type of plagiarism can happen in two different ways. On one hand, it's when someone contributes to a text but does not receive the credit for it. For example, when someone do the whole research or the whole academic assignment, but another person just not give them the credit. And yeah. And the second one, on the other hand, is when someone receives the credit without contributing to the task. For example, when someone paid for it, when paid for someone else make or do this academic assignment. The mosaic plagiarism is one of the most difficult type to detect because the writer use multiple sources to take information to sustain this study or task. And it is quite difficult to try to identify where the information comes from because it uses multiple information. Accidental plagiarism, it is like a non-intentional action. It's a result of neglect, mistake at the moment of typing like the date of the source, or unintentional paraphrasing when you just forget to write a synonym of any word. How plagiarism is detected. Some academic institutions have used these technological tools in order to identify whether your text composition has similarities with other people's work. Actually, universities use plagiarism checker to upload all the students' assignments in order to analyze if there are ideas in your work existing in other texts. If you have similarities, you may be accused for copyright. You may be accused for plagiarism. There is any consequences of plagiarism? Yes, of course. There are many consequences if you are accused of plagiarism, but it depends. For example, sometimes the writer does not publish their work, so there is no evidence if you have the same ideas from other authors' text. Let's say in other words, for example, students look for information in the internet in order to sustain any task for multiple, well, not for a specific topic. But the students just take the general idea, the keywords or phrases in order to complement the explanation. But they do not publish this work. So yes, there is no evidence if students have copied another author's ideas. It's just for reading purposes. Also, when students send their assignments to the university, as I said before, teachers use these plagiarism checker in order to analyze it. However, there are some universities that have kind of politics. For example, in my university, the UTPL have this politics where if your work contains 10% of plagiarism, there is not a strong punishment. But if you have more than this 10% established, you will have 0 at the score in your assignments. How plagiarism is prevented. This is like a personal opinion. When looking for information to complement our work, we are tempted to quickly place information that allow us to achieve the objective of writing. But we don't not realize that we are using or we are taking someone else's ideas. So personally, I think that to avoid plagiarism, in order to avoid plagiarism, you should paraphrase. Paraphrasing is useful when you're trying to take others' ideas, but you are trying to rewrite in your own words. Also use quotation marks because that means that you can take the information as the writer wrote and it means that you can take the exact text as long as you do in this way. Also cite properly the bibliographic sources, because in that way we know where the information come from and we are giving the credit to the authors. Yeah. So this is the bibliography and all the sources that I take to sustain this assignment. So that's all for this interesting topic. Thank you for hearing me. See you.